Hi students, welcome back to the next class, part 10 of electrochemistry. Part 10 of electrochemistry. Part 10 of electrochemistry. So in the last class we discussed about how the strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte dissociation takes place. So strong electrolyte 100% completely dissociation takes place. For strong electrolyte, degree of dissociation is equal to 1, and for weak electrolyte, degree of dissociation is less than 1. Less than 1. How means? See, again I am revising the last class, last topic. See, strong electrolyte, weak electrolyte. Weak electrolyte. See, if you take the strong electrolyte, NaCl is a strong electrolyte. How NaCl is strong electrolyte? NaCl is a strong electrolyte. We are taking NaCl is a strong electrolyte. How NaCl is strong electrolyte? Because the dissociation is completely takes place. When NaCl is strong salt, when it is dissolved in water, it will split into positive and negative ions, that is Na plus and Cl minus ions completely. So NaCl, when it is dissolved in water, it ionizes into Na plus cations and Cl minus anion completely. So that means here completely 100% dissociation takes place. How means? See here. So NaCl, Na plus Cl minus, Na plus Cl minus. This is Na plus and Cl minus. So NaCl is 100. If you take the initially, suppose it is in 100. Suppose its value is 100. So initially there are no products, only reactants are there. So initially it is 0 and it is 0. It is 0 and it is 0. See, after some time what happened? It is completely dissociation take place. How it is completely dissociation take place? It is completely dissociation take place because it is a strong electrolyte. How means here it is 50% and it is a 50%. It is a 50%. So initially 100% is there in NaCl. So initial there are no products. So these are 0 and these are also 0. So after some time NaCl reactant becomes 0 and products are Na plus and Cl minus. So after some time what happens? This reactant 100% converts to completely that as 50% Na plus and 50% Cl minus. So now what about the degree of dissociation alpha? Degree of dissociation alpha. Sum of products concentration. Sum of products concentration. We can write as sum of products concentration by sum of reactant concentration. Sum of reactant concentration. Sum of products concentration by sum of reactant concentration. So alpha is equal to, look here. This is the actual formula to calculate degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation. So sum of products concentration. What is sum of products? 50 plus 50 is 100. 50 plus 50. 50 plus 50, 100. By 100. Initially what is there? 100. Initially 100. No, we cannot take this 0. Because this 0 converts into 50 and 50. 50 and 50 after some time t. So we can take what is the actual percentage, the number percentage, that is 50 plus 50 by 100. So it is 100 by 100. 100 by 100. So 1. So here we have to know that degree of dissociation for strong electrolyte is alpha is equal to 1. Degree of dissociation for strong electrolyte is 1. Alpha is 1. This is degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation. So here degree of dissociation alpha is equal to 1. That means alpha is equal to 1 means what? Completely reactants are converted into products. Completely the reactants are converted into products. So here alpha is equal to 1 for strong electrolyte because completely dissociation takes place. Like that if you go to weak electrolyte, see weak electrolyte CH3COH acetic acid is a weak electrolyte. Acetic acid is weak electrolyte. CH3COOH converts as CH3CO minus plus H plus. 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 So look at here. If you take 100% initial 100 is there. So initial no products, that means here it is 0 and it is 0. Is 0. Okay. So after that, this complete, it is dissociated, it is somewhat dissociated into products. So here it is 50 and somewhat it is 49. That means 100% is total 100% dissociation not takes place in weak electrolytes. Not takes place in weak electrolytes. So now alpha is equal to degree of dissociation. Alpha is equal to sum of products concentration by sum of reactant concentration. So sum of products concentration, that is 50 plus 49 by reactant concentration 100. Reactant concentration 100. So it is equal to 99 by 100. 99 by 100. So it is equal to 99 by 100 means what will come here? 0.99. 0.99. See, 0.99 means alpha is equal to 1 or greater than or less than 1. It is less than 1. Less than 1. It is not equal to 1 because it is 0.99. Not equal to 1. So it is less than 1. See, so we have to observe here, for strong electrolyte dissociation constant alpha is equal to 1. For weak electrolytes dissociation constant alpha degree of dissociation, not constant here. Degree of dissociation alpha is less than 1. Alpha is less than 1. See here. Degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation alpha is less than 1. So what we have to observe is, see, for strong electrolyte dissociation is completely takes place, and for weak electrolyte dissociation is not completely takes place. Somewhat it will be remains. Dissociation is not completely takes place. So weak electrolyte, if you take any molar concentration, weak electrolyte does not take place completely. For strong electrolyte, if you take a molar concentration, if you take any molar with respect to any molar concentration, it will completely dissociation take place. That means at a particular point, at some particular point, strong electrolyte becomes dissociated completely. That means what you are taking the reactants, the products are completely dissociated, it becomes 0. What about weak electrolytes? What you are taking the reactants, that reactants does not convert into complete products. The reactants what you are taking there does not convert to completely products. So complete dissociation takes place for strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte not completely dissociation take place. So alpha degree of dissociation is equal to 1 for strong electrolyte and alpha degree of dissociation is less than 1 for weak electrolytes. So here that is about the strong electrolytes and the weak electrolyte degree of dissociation. Next, see here how the concentration varies concentration versus molar conductivity. Molar conductivity for the strong and weak electrolytes. Strong and weak electrolytes. So this is heading concentration versus molar conductivity. Concentration versus molar conductivity. Molar conductivity for strong and weak electrolytes. So concentration it is denoted by C. Concentration is denoted by C. Molar conductivity lambda m. Molar conductivity is lambda m. So concentrations versus molar conductivity for strong and weak electrolytes. See, if you take the strong electrolytes, for strong electrolytes, here, for strong electrolyte. So, for strong electrolyte, already we told you, if you take any salt or any electrolyte which is strong, so what happens? Completely dissociation takes place. Completely dissociation takes place. Example for the strong electrolytes are salts. Salts are a best example for strong electrolytes because they are easily converted to cations and anions to their respective form. So here, see if you draw the graph like this. So if you draw the graph like this here, this is the concentration C and here lambda m, molar conductivity. So what happened? We told you, we discussed that previous strong electrolyte alpha is equal to 1 and a complete dissociation takes place. Alpha is equal to 1, completely dissociation takes place. Completely dissociation takes place. So here, see, look at here. If concentration is increasing, concentration is decreasing. This is the concentration and is lambda m. Concentration is decreasing. See, this is increasing order of concentration. This is increasing. Here it is increasing like that. So concentration is decreasing. What happens to lambda m? It will increases. This is a graph. It will increases like this. For strong electrolyte, completely dissociation takes place. It will increases like this, and at a particular point, it will increase like this, and particular point, it will matches the lambda m graph. It will touches the lambda m graph. See, by knowing the concept only, we are drawing this graph. See, simple lambda m versus concentration. So lambda m is molar conductivity and C is concentration. So if concentration is decreasing, see 100 0 for strong electrolyte taken. So it is decreasing, becomes 0. What happens? It becomes 50 and 50. Product concentration is 50. So it is concentration is what happened? Decreased to 0. It is decreasing. What about this concentration of products? Concentration of products is increasing. That means it products this lambda m value, molar conductivity. Molar conductivity means splitting of ions. Conductivity means splitting of ions. So it is increasing. At a particular point, it will touches the lambda m curve. This is called as a limiting molar conductivity. That means up to this limit it will increase, and after that becomes 0. After that, this is 0. This is 0. It will increase like this. It will increase like this values. So if concentration is decreasing, molar conductance, that means splitting of ions increases, but at some point it is equal to, it will touches the lambda m graph. This touches at the point where lambda m is maximum and becomes 0. That is called as limiting molar conductivity. See, this will happen only for strong electrolyte. Why? Because completely dissociation takes place. For weak electrolyte, not like this. It does not touch the graph. Does not touch the lambda m. Okay. See, when you come to the point here, so what I want to say is here, concentration for strong electrolyte, if you draw the graph between molar quantity versus concentration is decreasing. At the same time, molar quantity is increasing. If concentration is decreasing, molar quantity is increasing, and it will touches the maximum point. That point is called as limiting molar quantity. That means at that limit only it increases. After that it becomes zero. At that limit, to that limit it will increases. After that it becomes zero. So this is called as limiting molar quantity. So for this, Debye-Hückel, scientist Debye-Hückel derived an equation for strong electrolyte as lambda m is equal to lambda naught m minus a into root c. Lambda m is equal to lambda naught m minus a into root c. So what is lambda m? Molar conductivity. So what is the lambda naught m? See, it is a limiting molar conductivity. Limiting molar conductivity. A is Debye-Hückel constant. Debye-Hückel constant. C is concentration. See, look at here. Lambda m is molar conductivity, lambda naught m is limiting molar conductivity, and A is Debye-Hückel constant, and C is concentration. See, look at here. Lambda m is equal to lambda naught m minus A into root c. By using this graph also, if you substitute the values, by using this equation, if you substitute the values, you will get this graph only. So here you have to observe here, for strong electrolytes, limiting molar quantity is limiting to, we can calculate the limiting molar conductivity. Because to that limit, up to some limit, lambda m molar quantity increases. After that it becomes zero. That maximum is called as limiting molar conductivity. And here concentration is decreasing and molar quantity is increasing. So finally we can draw the graph like this. See, this is lambda m and this is limiting molar quantity like this. So, Debye-Hückel derived the equation for limiting molar quantity, and this is for stronger. This graph is for stronger. This equation is important. They will ask which of the following is Debye-Hückel equation. See, this they will alter. This becomes lambda naught m. This becomes lambda m. So that is wrong. Lambda m is equal to lambda naught m minus a into root c. So note on this one. Next, for weak alkylides, take a screenshot for notes. For weak alkylides, for weak alkylides, weak alkylides. Look at here. Weak alkylide alpha is less than 1. Alpha is less than 1. And for weak alkylide, incomplete dissociation rate, not completely dissociated, not completely dissociated. Not completely dissociated. Alpha is less than 1. Alpha is less than 1. Alpha is less than 1 and not completely dissociated. Not completely dissociated. Not completely dissociated. Alpha is less than 1 and not completely dissociated. See, if you draw a graph like this, see what you studied in CH3COH, CH3COH. We calculate CH3 COO minus plus H+. So it is 100, it is 0 and 0. It is 100, it is 0 and 0. So it becomes 0. What happened here? 50 and 49. So that means 0, 1% remains here. 1% remains here. Not completely useless. 1% remains here. So by using this concept, we wrote that we wrote this point. So if you draw the graph, concentration versus lambda m, concentration versus lambda m. Look at here, concentration versus lambda m. So concentration is here CH3 COOH equal to CH3 CO minus plus H plus. It is 100. It is 0 and 0. What about here? 50 and 49. 50 and 49. Look at here, 50 and 49. What about here? 1% remains here. 1% remains here. That means then the concentration is decreasing like this. This concentration is decreasing. Concentration is decreasing. So not completely dissociated. Not completely dissociated. Complete dissociation is not takes place. So that means this graph when concentration is decreasing, this lambda m is increasing like this. Lambda m is increasing like this. Lambda m is increasing like this. And it is not completely dissociated. Some part is remains here. Not completely dissociated take place. So it will increases like this only. It does not touches like this. It increases like this only. So here we cannot find lambda naught m. Lambda naught m means limiting molar conductivity. So for weak alkyl, if you draw the graph between molar conductivity and the concentration, when concentration is decreasing, this is initial concentration, it will convert to products, that means decreasing. When the initial concentration is decreasing, it does not completely converts to zero. And products are not completely ionized. So due to that, concentration decreases like this, and lambda m value increasing like this. It does not comes to zero. Why? Because it is not zero. Here 1 is there, not completely dissociation take place. So we cannot find a limiting molar conductivity. So it does not touches to zero means it does not. Here we cannot find limiting molar conductivity. So we cannot find a limiting molar conductivity for weak alkylides. Because of the reason is incompletely dissociated ions. So here the graph is like this for weak alkylide. we cannot find limiting molar conductivity. We cannot find limiting molar conductivity. We cannot find limiting molar conductivity. So due to that, we cannot find limiting molar conductivity for the weak light. Due to that, Kohler is a scientist. He derived an equation for weak light to calculate the limiting molar conductivity. That is Kohler's law. That is Kohler's law. The limiting that Kohler is defined as like this. The Kohler's law is defined as like this. Limiting molar conductivity for infinite dilation is equal to sum of molar conductivities of cations and anions. So that we will discuss after this continuation of this one. First, we take a screenshot for this one. So you have to remember that. See, you have to remember that here it will be like this. So graph for weak light, C versus lambda m. It is like this. C versus lambda m. It does not touch the lambda m value at any maximum constant. So we cannot find the limit. We cannot find the limiting molar conductivity. Due to that only, Kohler is a scientist. He proposed his own law to calculate the limiting molar conductivity for weak lights. That is, limiting molar conductivity for weak lights is algebraic sum of molar conductivities of cation and anion. So this law is derived only to calculate the molar conductivity for the weak lights. Molar conductivity for weak lights. So first of all, note down this one. I think that you are catching this point in a very easy way. See, because I am teaching in a very easy way. For strong calculate and weak calculates, if you study in the NCERT book or any other books, the concept, what we are studying the concept, you cannot understand very easily. So if you hear properly, then by using that this dissociation constant for weak calculate and strong calculate, we can easily know how the graph will come for weak light and the graph will come for strong lights. So this is for weak light graph. Then for strong lights, from the graph only we calculate the limiting molar conductivity. But for weak lights, not like that, because of not completely dissociation take place. So for this, Kohler is a scientist. He proposed one law to calculate the limiting molar conductivity for the weak light. That is Kohler's law. Kohler's law. Kohler's law. See, limiting molar conductivity for weak lights is equal to molar conductivity of algebraic sum of molar conductivity of cations plus molar conductivity of anions. So limiting molar conductivity at infinite dilation, dilation is infinite dilation. At infinite dilation, limiting molar conductivity at infinite dilation is equal to sum of molar conductivities of cation and sum of molar conductivities of anion. So limiting molar conductivity at infinite dilation is equal to molar conductivities of cation and molar conductivities of anion. So limiting molar conductivity at infinite dilation is equal to sum of molar conductivities of anion and sum of molar conductivities of cation. This is for weak lights. So we can define like this: limiting molar conductivity at infinite dilution, at infinite dilution, limiting molecule at infinite dilution is equal to sum of molar conductivity of cation and anion. Sum of molar conductivity of cation and sum of molar conductivity of cation and anion. Sum of molar conductivity of cation and so limiting molar quantity at infinite dilution is equal to algebraic sum of, algebraic means all cations and all anions. We can write here as algebraic sum of molar quantities of cation and anion. This is called Coles law. Coles law. So Coles law for weak alkylates. Coles law for weak alkylates is a limiting molar quantity for the weak alkylate. Limiting molar quantity for weak alkylate is defined as molar quantities of cation and molar quantities of anion to the algebraic sum. So this is a statement. This is a statement this statement proposed by Kohler to calculate the molar quantities of cation and anion for weak alkylates. Next applications are there. Applications. So first one, degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation. Degree of alpha is equal to the ratio of molar quantity to limiting molar quantity. This is the ratio of molar quantity to limiting molar quantity. This is the first application. Degree of dissociation alpha. Degree of dissociation alpha can be calculated is the ratio of molar quantity to limiting molar conductivity. And second application, dissociation constant. Dissociation constant for weak alkylate. See here, CH3 COOH dissociated as CH3COOH dissociated as CH3 CO minus plus H plus. CH3 CO minus and H plus. So here, if you take it is C alpha, this is 0 and a 0. 0 and 0. See, next C minus C alpha. That means this much of concentration is from the whole concentration it is decreasing. From the whole concentration it is decreasing. So what happened here? C alpha, C alpha. So this C alpha converts into two parts like the C alpha and C alpha. Next, degree of dissociation. Dissociation constant. K is equal to dissociation constant. Products concentration by concentration of products. Product of products concentration by a reactant concentration C minus C alpha. This is equal to C square alpha square by C minus 1 minus alpha. C alpha. So therefore Ka is equal to C alpha square by 1 minus alpha. 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 K is equal to C alpha square by 1 minus alpha. 1 minus alpha. So this is a dissociation, degree of dissociation lambda m by lambda naught m, and a Ka dissociation constant, C alpha square by 1 minus alpha. C alpha square by 1 minus alpha. So the second application, degree of finding the degree of dissociation, first application, and find out the dissociation constant for vehicle is second application. So after that, see here. K is equal to C alpha square by 1 minus alpha. Alpha is equal to lambda m by lambda naught. Lambda m by lambda n. So Ka is equal to C into lambda m by lambda naught m whole square by 1 minus alpha. So here, if you take here 1 minus alpha. So it is negligible. 1 minus alpha is very negligible, because alpha is if it is negligible, what happens? It is almost equal to 1, or almost equal to 1. So K is equal to C alpha square. K is equal to C alpha square. So K is equal to C into alpha lambda m by lambda naught m whole square. Lambda naught m. One minus alpha becomes half. If it is equal to 1, if it is equal to 1 minus alpha equal to 1, it will happen like this. It will happen like this. And second, 1 minus alpha equal to alpha. K is equal to C alpha square by alpha cancel, becomes C alpha. So K is equal to C into lambda m by lambda naught m. C into lambda m by lambda naught m. Lambda m by lambda naught m. Applications extension. These are applications extension for Kohler's law. So Kohler's law is very important. Kohler's law is sum of the Kohler's law is calculated for the vehicle plate. Kohler's law is calculated only for vehicle plate. To calculate the limiting molar quantity for vehicle plate, the limiting molar quantity for vehicle plate is equal to algebraic sum of molar quantities of algebraic sum of molar quantities of anion and molar quantities of cation. So that is Kohler's law and its applications. Now we will do the problems based on the Kohler's law. problems, we do the problems based on Euler's law. Here the problem is given as example 3.7. Example 3.7 electrochemistry. See here, before this we are going to calculate this one now. We have to know the ratios. Ratios, that is CL. NaCl. NaCl, how can it split up? NaCl, Na plus and Cl minus. So 1:1 ratio. 1:1 ratio. 1:1 ratio. Like this. MgCl2. Mg plus 2 and Cl minus 1. So it is 2:1 ratio. 2:1 ratio. CaCl2. Ca plus 2 plus Cl minus 1. Ca plus 2 Cl. So this is also 2:1 ratio. 2:1 ratio. MgSO4. Mg plus 2 plus SO4 minus 2. So it is 2:2 ratio. 2:2 ratio. See, look at here. NaCl converts to Na plus Cl minus 1. So it is 1:1 ratio. MgCl2, Mg plus 2, Cl minus 1. 2:1 ratio. CaCl2, Ca plus 2, Cl minus 2. 2:1 ratio. MgSO4, Mg plus 2, SO4 minus 2. 2:2 ratio. See, we have to take the ions. This ions has ratio 2, 1. 2, 1, 1, 1. That is 1, 1. 1, 1. So here, if you want to calculate, see, if you take a limiting molar quantity for limiting molar quantity for CaCl2, I am taking CaCl2. How can you take CaCl2? See, limiting molar Ca plus 2 into lambda naught Cl minus. Lambda naught Cl minus CaCl2 lambda naught Cl minus. Here, so before that, if you can write the formula lambda naught xy is equal to lambda naught of here this charge of this one x plus charge of minus lambda naught y minus. So simply here we are writing the charges. These charges. This is the formula, actual formula. So lambda naught of CaCl2. Here, how can CaCl2 split? Ca plus 2 and Cl minus 1. So how many Cl's are there? 2 Cl minus 1. So lambda naught of Ca plus how many ions here? This ions, this X ion and Y ion. How many ions here? 2 ions. So only we write like this. Lambda naught of MgSO4. How can you write 2 into lambda naught of Mg plus 2? Lambda naught of Mg plus 2 plus 2 into lambda naught of SO4 minus 2. 2 into lambda naught of SO4 minus 2. So to do the problems, these are very important. So if you go to the problems here, so look at here. One problem is given, that is example number 3.7. 3.7. The problem is calculate the lambda naught m. Calculate the lambda naught m for CaCl2. Lambda naught m for CS and MgSO4 and MgSO4. See here, MgSO4. Lambda naught m for CaCl2 and MgSO4. So first we calculate for CaCl2. CaCl2, and here it is given as a lambda naught of Ca plus 2 is equal to Ca plus 2 is equal to 119.0. Lambda naught of Cl minus is equal to 76.3. So how can we calculate this one? See, look at it. What is the formula? Lambda naught of CaCl2. Lambda naught of CaCl2 is equal to lambda naught of Ca plus 2 plus 2 into 2 Cl's are there. 2 into lambda naught of Cl minus. Lambda naught of Cl minus. So here lambda naught of CaCl2 is equal to lambda naught of Ca plus 2 1190.0 plus 2 into 76.3. So plus 23662 12, 7 is 1450 and 119.0. So finally here we get a lambda naught of CaCl2 is equal to 152.6 by 119 6 11 7 271, and it becomes a 271.6. So this is the final value for this problem. Next, we will do one more problem. See, lambda naught, example number 3.8, lambda naught of NaCl, lambda naught of HCl, lambda naught of CH3COONA, lambda naught is given. Lambda naught of NaCl is equal to 126.4. Lambda naught of HCl is equal to 425.9. Lambda naught of CH2 is equal to 91. Calculate lambda naught of CH3COONA. Lambda naught of CH3COONA. Look at here. CH3, lambda naught of CH3OH. CH3OH you have to calculate. CH3OH. See here. Lambda naught of NaCl is given. Lambda naught of HCl is given. Lambda naught of CH3CONA is given. Lambda naught of CH3COH you have to calculate. See here. How can you do? See. Lambda naught of CH3COOH. Lambda naught of CH3COOH. So lambda naught of CH3COOH. So how can you calculate this lambda naught of CH3COOH? Look at here. So I am writing like this: lambda naught of CH3 CONA. So lambda naught of CH3COH is equal to lambda naught of CH3CONA is H. Okay. Lambda naught of CH3COH is equal to, we have to calculate this one, is equal to lambda naught of CH3CONA, this one, CH3CONA minus plus, look at here, plus lambda naught of HCl, plus lambda naught of HCl minus lambda naught of CH3 minus lambda naught of NaCl, minus lambda naught of NaCl, lambda naught of Na. Lambda naught of CH3COH is equal to lambda naught of CH3CONA plus lambda naught of HCl minus lambda naught of NaCl. Cl. So here it is equal to, look at here, CH3CO Na. We are subtracting Na. Okay, Na will cancel. So CH3CO will remain same. Next is lambda naught of HCl. HCl means HCl. H if we add here, add what happened? CH3CO, CH3COH will come. And NaCl, we are removing NaCl. So finally we will get this one only. Okay? This we are adding. What happens? CH3CO Na plus HCl. CH3COH NaCl. So NaCl we are removing. NaCl we are removing. So it becomes a CH3COOH. So we have to add all these terms up. So it is 91 plus lambda of HCl 425.9. 425.9 plus NaCl 126.4. So finally here we have to add all these terms 126.4, 425.9 and 91. So this is 13. This is 6, 10, 11, 13, 9, 10, 14, 4, 5, 6, 640. So finally 643.8. So lambda naught of CH3COH, lambda naught of CH3COH. So look at here, lambda naught of, this is answer. So problem is finished. How this is equal to this one I will show here. Lambda naught of CH3COONA plus lambda naught of HCl minus lambda naught of NaCl. This one we will take here. So this lambda naught of CH3COH can be written as lambda naught of CH3CO minus plus lambda naught of Na plus lambda naught of H plus lambda naught of Cl minus lambda naught of Na plus minus lambda naught of Cl minus. Look at here. This plus and minus will cancel. This plus and minus will cancel. So finally we get lambda naught of CH3CO minus plus H plus. So finally we can write lambda naught of CH3COOH. So how this is equal to this one is, this is the proof. These three terms, this is equal to this means this is the proof. Look at here. We have taken this and proved this. So this is today's class, and tomorrow we will discuss the next topic.